Welcome back to another edition of Research Fantasy Presents our value plays for March 23rd, 2017. It is Thursday, and let's waste no time. Let's check in from last night. We had Scal Labissiere, who finished over 20 points. Wasn't a great effort, wasn't a poor effort, but wasn't someone who took you to the promised land. Thabo Sefolosha, again, was someone who, at his price, he actually did reasonably well. I think he ended up being a better play than both Ersan Ilyasova and Torian Prince at their prices, so I'll take that win. And then we had Cristiano Felicio, who didn't play, but if you checked the comments of the video, I did post prior to the game starting that Laverne was someone who you should check out, as well as Mirotic and Portis. And Laverne and Mirotic both had really good games. Mirotic had a very, very good game, so congratulations if you saw that, if you used them. Let's talk tonight's slate. This is going to be a very, very, very interesting slate because we're not dealing with a lot of guys who have big price tags. So it's not going to take any kind of effort whatsoever to just put together a middle-of-the-road 6 to 7K type lineup at all positions and just go about your business. On top of that, there's really just not very many attractive value plays whatsoever. So it's going to make things a little bit challenging, I think, tonight, and especially since some guys who we've gotten used to in, the past, such as like Tyler Eulis, Marquise Chris, guys like that aren't priced in the value bin area anymore, so we can't just like go back to the well and say, well, but these guys are good to go. So it's going to be really testy. I think that here's three guys I'm looking at, all right? And these are basically the only three guys our module pops out today. First is Quincy Acy, never a sexy name, not an expensive guy, not a guy with a ton of upside unless something happens where like Brooks sits out or, Justin Hamilton and Trevor Booker don't play. Maybe Rondé Hollis-Jefferson gets into foul trouble. I'm just saying a lot of things need to go right for him to end up having a good game. He's 3,500. Is a 20-point outing possible? I think so. I think he actually matches up pretty well with the Phoenix Suns. He plays with an intensity on the court. I like him. I think that if I'm gonna have some exposure to him where I need it. Next up would be Zach Randolph. He's going up against the Spurs, so right there you're gonna have that whole, don't want to play because it's Memphis first of all and it's the Spurs. But I'm looking at 4,700 on DraftKings, such a low price. And I know that last time he was here, he came through. It wasn't like a huge come through, but he came through. I know, again, he's just one of those names you see and you're like, come on, I don't want to play Zach Randolph. Like, he hasn't been that good. But we know the Spurs, they kind of like to play the bigger bodies. You're going to have some big guys on the floor. I think Randolph's going to see his 25 minutes. And you just have to look at the upside here. I think the upside is 30 points at 4.7K on DraftKings. That's a point total I'm willing to chase. Last up, I'm going to put Alan Williams out there, and he's not our, he falls just outside of our value range, but the reality of the situation is he's 5'7", so his price on DraftKings dropped pretty substantially, like $1,000. FanDuel, it's right where it's been at, but it dropped on DraftKings by $1,000 specifically because he was sick the last game and he didn't play. But I don't know if their tool is reading it as like he got a 0-point game, because he did, because he wasn't ruled out prior to the game. It was mentioned like the end of the first quarter, just flippantly, like, oh, by the way, Alan Williams is sick, I guess he's not going to be playing tonight. Brooklyn is bad against everything. At this price, I mean, he's the, if I'm not going to go Randolph or Acy, I'm going to load up with Alan Williams across the board. It's just very important. You got to pay attention to see if he's going to be playing tonight. I mean, he's still a game-time decision for illness. Obviously, Earl Watson is not going to be forthcoming about things like this because he didn't tell us going into this last game. But that's about where things are going. As always, check out Roto World and Twitter and make sure, you see what's happening with your players. Value could open up, but as far as I'm concerned tonight, I think you're going to be just as well hitting the mid-range picks and just building a team of guys with some good upside. All right, that'll conclude our podcast for today. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Head over to researchfantasy.com, sign up for our NBA mailing list. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Research and Win, and join us again tomorrow.